Hi, baby Baba Yaga, are you there?
Saturn! Babe! Hi!
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm getting through it. I've been learning a lot of really good new meditations that I think is really helping me find my center. Yeah, I'm feeling okay today. How about you?
That's lovely. I'm feeling okay today. I am really enjoying the rebelliousness of the sun. My weather app keeps telling me no more sun. And every day the sun's like, ha, bitch, you thought. And that's been nice.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
It's the little things.
Yeah, well, I was calling today to kind of get an update if you might have any knowledge of the cosmos and what I might be able to expect. I've been kind of getting down about just this like endlessness, and I just need some kind of map or like encouragement to figure out how to navigate through my own consciousness right now.
That is so interesting that you are using that language. First of all, I would love to help you. I'm here for you, babe. Anything for you. I pulled some really interesting cards this morning that I think really speak to what you were asking and what we're all going through. I pulled the Wheel of Fortune,
Whoa.
which is all about that cycle. I feel like we've kind of been pulling ourselves up to the top of this roller coaster, and it's like click, 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 click. And we're just like in that place where we just want the clicks to stop and something, like just something to happen. And I also love the Wheel of Fortune. It's such a Saturnian card for these like really Saturnian times that we're in. And it's like such a card for you, Saturn, because Saturn represents the authority of nature rather than the authority of the state or the authority of the church. You plant your seeds, and then that's the Wheel of Fortune. Like, you follow the wheel of the year, and it's in someone else's hands, you know? But the other thing that's really beautiful about this card, especially this rendering of the card, which is from the Dark Exact by Coleman Stevenson, this reminds me so much of a birth chart.
Oh, yeah, totally.
When I get the Wheel of Fortune, I think about how I can be the center of the wheel when everything is moving and everything feels like it's changing, and I feel like I am not in control of that. That my job is to be still, and what you've been doing and finding your center is really akin to that process of getting into the center of the wheel. And it's also what I think about a lot when I do astrology readings for folks, is like the natal chart is from the perspective of you looking up at the sky, you know? So I think it's such a beautiful card to pull for today. And it's an acknowledgement of the work that you've been doing. And it's an acknowledgement of the work that we're going to do today, which I think is really, really cool. And then the other card that I pulled was the Seven of Swords reversed.
Whoa.
So it's a minor arcana. And the thing about sevens is that sevens are also about forces beyond our control, but they're also about looking externally. It's like, if only I had this, or if only I had that, or if only I knew, if only I knew when this was going to end, if only I had the knowledge, if only I had the partner, if only I had the job, whatever, if only I had this, everything would work out. And the sevens, the medicine of the seven is to understand that it's actually, the answer is inside of you. We're like reconciling, like seeing what you're missing as you're projecting out. The lunation axis that's happening right now, which is, it's Aries season. So that's the new moon in Aries and then the full moon in Libra, is that lunation axis. And so Aries and Libra are opposite each other on that wheel. And so the natal chart is made up of these six axes. And our integration of these axes in our lives is how we take care of ourselves and take care of our like overall mental, emotional, physical health. It's all about taking these opposites and balancing them. And in your case, that lunation cycle is happening in Aries and Libra on your 1st and 7th. So your ascendant is in Libra, and that full moon is going to land almost exactly on it, which is a really beautiful. It's going to be a real tight conjunction. Your ascendant is at around 17 degrees Libra, and the full moon's going to be at around 18 degrees Libra. So
Whoa.
right there. And so your ascendant is your interface. It's your mask. It's how you deal with the world. So it's about how others perceive you, but it's also about like how you integrate your personality to others. It's like I heard it described recently as like the bouncer of your party. Like it's like the force that determines what you need, what the party needs, and what it doesn't need. But then on the other side is the descendant. And that represents in the day you were born when the sun was setting. The 7th house is traditionally called the house of marriage. It's associated with partnerships. If the ascendant in the 1st house is the house of the self, the 7th is the house of our relationships with other people. And the 7th house also represents what we like project outwards. So it's what we look for in the people around us, because it's something we don't give ourselves permission for, or something that we can't integrate into our personality of like who we are. One of my favorite astrologers, Jessica Lanyadoo, always talks about if you're having a problem with somebody, like the answer is in your chart. It's not in their chart. It's not because they're this or that, or they have this in the whatever house. None of that. It's because you got to look at your own paper, like understand why this condition exists for you. Your moon is your emotional backpack. It's always changing, making relationships throughout the wheel of your chart. It's always delivering messages back to you, and it's always like what you carry. You know, you have a Pisces moon, so your backpack is full of like bath salts, and it's full of probably flower essences. That's a water, like magical water. Your moon really needs to feel like connected to consciousness, both like higher consciousness and like human consciousness as a collective. The moon in Libra is also in your 7th house opposite your Venus in Aries. That balance that you pursue between your concept of self and how you like operate under, and that which you project, is this balancing act of the ways that your Venus is like the ways that you connect to other people, like what you're an ambassador for. And that makes a lot of sense to me, knowing you, Saturn. You have such a fiery desire to like connect to people in this powerful, passionate way. I remember you telling me once you just want someone to like yell off of a building with, and to me that's very Venus and Aries.
Described Venus and Aries one time where it was like someone pulls up in a car and you're like, get in! You're gonna be in love!
Yes, get in a fucking car! Everyone's making a lot of jokes about like, oh, Aries season indoors, what are we gonna do? And it's true, Aries is a sign that defines itself through challenge, through struggle. That thread that pulls across your chart leads back to that Libra ascendant, which is all about creating harmony. It's all about what is balanced and fair. What I love about Libra energy is that it acknowledges that many realities are present at once. There's many truths. It's really about holding that paradox. And I think that's where we are all right now, is like needing to really understand that the simultaneity of our reality right now. That the gratitude, the horror, the discomfort, the grief that we're feeling is what is enabling us to feel the gratitude, is enabling us to have the pleasures that we do. It's like this beautiful continuum, and it's Libra as a scale is not about moral judgment. It's about what we are and aren't willing to hold. Something to think about as we sort of complete this lunation cycle is, how can you lovingly, with the knowledge that you've gained through these explorations of self, recalibrate your interface to balance, integrate that fire, that thrust forward, that shoot bursting out? How can you bring more of that into your interface?
I think this is a really good time for me to figure that out and be able to adapt to different modes of comforting myself and processing things, because I feel most at peace and in harmony when I am moving forward. I've always kind of felt my own consciousness and I don't know, just like purpose in life is like to move like a shark. Like I always have to be like moving forward and going and like producing and creating in order to feel like I am living the right way in life. And at times, you know, that there needs to be a lot of like sitting with myself and like being okay with not moving. There's not a movement that I can do right now, but at least feeling within myself that I can always come back to myself and learn things from others to kind of like channel them through and continue this process of you know, self reconfiguring.
That's beautiful. The thing about astrology is that it really captures the inexorability and the inevitability of time. And it's all about cycles and how we're always moving, even if we're not moving forward, is maybe the greatest reconciliation for someone like you who really believes in this linearity, is to understand that it's cycles and cycles and cycles, and cycles are always ending and beginning. Right now, astrologically, is a super tough time. It's an especially tough time, but it will end or it will change. And sometimes the only way out is through.
Well, I should probably get going soon. Do you have any other closing thoughts?
Well, Saturn, it's always a pleasure to get to talk to you. And I want to say that I miss you very much. And I don't know when we will see each other again. We will both be different. Everything will be different. It won't be like it was before. And I think that's maybe the grief to sit with. I know you've been trying to go home, and you know, you can never go home again, but it's okay. And it's okay not to know. And I love you so much.
I love you too, and I miss you.
I miss you, and I have faith.
There will be another side. Thank you so much for sharing that with me today.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for calling. It's just so nice to talk to you.
Well, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Till next time.